Welcome back, people. Welcome back. Welcome back to yet another episode of Check Down, where we check down on the best available waiver wire pickups of the current football week. And for this week, week 13, I got a couple of potential studs that might change your lineup and get you into the playoffs. But first, I have to give a shout out to my sponsor, you know what I'm saying? Football is money. Whether you're a diehard fan, fantasy manager, or just in it for the drama, we're here every week to bring you the action and analysis you crave. Plus, don't miss a beat. Follow Football is Money on all social platforms for extra updates and live game insights. Join the team, subscribe today, and let's make every game count on Football is Money. Check this out, man. Shout out to Football is Money. And this week is a special episode because I actually got to collab with my partnership. And they call me boss. Me and him go way back. Let's just say we kind of close, you know what I'm saying? We like brothers, you know what I'm saying? So for Thanksgiving, I went out to Dallas, Texas and spent time with the family. And we came up with our own edition of Check Down, combined with Football is Money. Check it out, guys. Let's run it, man. Hope you guys enjoy it. Afterwards, I will have some feedback, some things I want to say. But until then, check it out, guys. Yo, what's up? It's your boy Spider, and I'm back with another episode of Check Down, where we check down on the best available waiver wire pickups. And this week, week 13, we got a juicy selection. If you're still hustling on the waiver wire, we've got you covered. I'm your host, Spider Lope, and I've got my co-host, they call me boss, here to help us figure out who's worth a pickup this week. Let's check it out. Week 13, man, the playoffs are around the corner. It's time to get geared up, time to get your lineup straight, and it's time to get serious. If you're still hustling on the waiver wire, we got you covered. I'm your host, Spider, and I've got my co-host, they call me boss, here to help me figure out who's worth a pickup for week 13.
Yes, sir. You already know it. Let's dig into these stats, projections, and, we'll make these guys worth the look in week 13.
And we're going to start first with Keon Coleman. Keon Coleman, the wide receiver from the Buffalo Bills. So far, 2024 stats, 36 targets, 22 receptions, 417 yards. That's staggering. That's pretty impressive, man. As you can see, due to the numbers here, he averages 19 yards per reception, which is astonishing. And he has about 3 touchdowns so far, Fantasy points in total, 83.7, And I feel like this man's points and totals will be far, far higher than this if he didn't get injured and placed on injured reserve. Coleman's averaging an elite 19 yards per catch, which means he's always a threat for a deep ball play. If you're in the league that rewards big play potential, he's a stash with upside once he's healthy. Boss, does Coleman's deep threat ability make up for his lack of volume?
Yeah, I think it do in the right context. If you chasing the high ceiling, then he's worth the play. But you'll need to be patient until his role grows, until he fully develop into this role with Josh Allen out there in Buffalo.
Okay. What is week 13 projections then, man? Like, what do you feel like week 13, what will he do? What will he come out and emerge as one of those top tier rookie?
Well, I expect him to have over 10 fantasy points for sure. Let's say 5 to 6 targets, 3 to 4 receptions. I give him 50 yards, but he will score a touchdown this week, and that's where he'll get his the upside from.
I feel like he's Josh Allen's main target.
Yeah, he is. Him and Khalil Shakir.
Yeah, Khalil Shakir.
Both of those pretty good. But this week, Coleman, 6 targets, 4 catches, 50 yards, and he'll score 1 touchdown. That will give him his upside.
It's about 10 to 12 points right there, somewhere in that range, depending on what your commissioner league settings are. I'm saying?
And it's a time where a lot of teams are on bye weeks, so you're gonna have to pick up these guys to fill in your roster to give you a chance to make this playoff push. You know,
This is true because after this week 14 is a lot of. I mean, it's not a lot of bye weeks, but it's some mean offensive
big guys
terrorists that are sitting down. So you get like Lamar Jackson, you know what I'm saying? So you gotta
Derrick
be
Henry,
weary of that. You know
Mark
what I'm saying?
Andrews.
Yep, real talk.
You know, them three right there, up there. You know, Derrick Henry, the number one, one of the number ones, one of the top 3-5 running backs on fantasy. Lamar Jackson, you know, I think he's top 3 fantasy quarterback right now.
Yeah, but let me ask you a question though. Do you think Coleman will put up some good numbers against none other than San Francisco?
Yeah, I think he'll put up some numbers against San Francisco. Even though this matchup could be brutal, and you know his volume isn't something that you can count on yet. But I believe this matchup, 49ers ain't who they've been in previous years, and he'll have a good day. Bills ain't the Bills from last year. Even though they missed Stephon Diggs, they beat out the bully on the block. You know what I'm saying? They took out the big dog, and to beat a goat, you got to beat the goat, and they did that. So, you know, I think his production will rise. He's a rising star, and if you're in a dynasty league, especially, I think he's a good keep.
I feel like the Bills are going to make a playoff push.
They're gonna make a strong playoff push, and they might be.
Well, it feels like the year 2023, 2022, and 2021 all over again.
No, man. I think they done constructed their team in a way to, you know, they ready to challenge the Kansas City Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens too.
That's another thing. People think just the Kansas City Chiefs are gonna just walk solid.
Nah, they ain't
Super Bowl.
They ain't gonna walk into it. You know?
I don't really think they're gonna make it.
But they prepared to.
First.
I will not, and I cannot discount them, or you know, I can't bet against the baby goat. So I see them going there, but I don't think it's gonna be an easy road. It wasn't easy last year, man. They had to go through all these teams last year, and they beat them on the road.
So let me ask you something.
And this year they're gonna be at home.
Let me ask you something. You playing fantasy football,
right?
Keon Coleman's on the waiver wire. Are you grabbing him to stash him, or are you gonna grab him to start him?
I grab him and stash him. You know, like I say, that's based on what receivers you got and what receivers that you need. If I could have picked him up last week when Jamar Chase was out, I would have got him. You know, but I ended up getting Nick Westbrook, the receiver for the Titans.
Oh, Westbrook Akine.
Yeah.
Westbrook Akine.
But yeah, Keon Coleman, he's definitely worth at least rostering.
Okay, cool. I agree, man.
I wouldn't say he's a wide receiver one every week, but like, you know, when you need somebody to plug in.
I would plug him in. He plays for the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen, he's like a chef. He's salt babe to all his receivers. He seasons everybody, you feel me?
And even
you get a ball, pause.
And even with Amari Cooper over there, we all thought that, you know, he'll be targeting Cooper heavily, but he's still spreading the ball out. I guess he don't have a diva over there that's demanding the ball and crying after every game, you know what I'm saying? So it's a little easier.
Shots fired.
It's a little easier to spread the ball out. So yeah, I think he's gonna be good.
Why you gotta get on Stephon Diggs like that, bro?
I'm just saying, you know, he was crying about the ball and went to H-Town. He ain't doing nothing.
Bro, he was doing something before he got hurt, let's be honest, bro.
Nah, Nico Collins started that team.
Nah, Joe Mixon been eating though. I ain't lying.
Yeah, Joe Mixon really is.
All right, so next up, we're gonna get on a plane, right? We're gonna travel to Cleveland, Ohio, and we're gonna pick up my boy Jerome Ford, and we're gonna check down with Jerome Ford because I feel like, me personally, let's not even get into it right now. Let's go over the stats, right? 2024 stats. He has 61 carries for 298 yards and 1 touchdown, 4.9 yards per average. Receptions 26 and 126 yards of those 26, and no touchdowns. 74 fantasy points in total. Now, you may look at this on paper, right? And you might say, oh, it's mediocre.
Mediocre. Why would I want to pick him up?
I would pick him up for one of two reasons. The first reason is you have a starting running back in Nick Chubb who has an Achilles injury that he's recovering from still. As you can see how he moves in his burst. That's why they use this guy, Jerome Ford. Also, Nick Chubb, he isn't that strong as, a receiving threat. You feel me? I feel like Ford is more of a receiving threat than Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb is a ground and pound, head, like run. That's his game, running to you. And he's been trying to, and lately he's been trying to cut to the sides. I don't know what that is. Like, I've never seen that. Like, he gets screen passes and they go nowhere, Jerome Ford gets in, he gets a screen pass, he gets a couple of yards. I feel like,
yak it up.
Yeah. I feel like, beginning of the season, Jerome Ford didn't really get a good chance to run the ball because they were always playing from behind, right? They had, Watson. They had Watson in as quarterback, and they were playing from behind a lot. So Jerome Ford, I don't feel like really had enough snaps. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like with this split backfield and the fact that they want to, reserve, they don't want to push Chubb so far. It's only like 3 weeks he's been back, right?
Right.
So it's like after that month, I feel like Chubb gonna start eating. He gonna start eating. But for this week 13, I feel like this is still one of those weeks where they're gonna split the workload pretty evenly, and if you need a running back, from bye weeks or whatever, I feel like Jerome Ford would be a great filler. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Ford's still the top receiving back in Cleveland, so he's got some PPR value as well. If you're in a deep value league where a deep league where it's like 14, 16 stack league, and you need a running back for depth, or you want to just stash somebody in case Chubb gets hurt, I think this is important to stash him because the playoffs are coming.
Yeah.
The playoffs come and Nick Chubb gets hurt or he reaggravates that Achilles heel, this is done. He's going to be sitting out, bro. It's going to be a wrap. So, I feel like this is a sneaky stash as well, bro, because Achilles injuries in football are way different from an Achilles injury in basketball.
They normally keep him out for a while too.
Yeah, for sure. He came back way early.
Yeah, a lot of times they ain't the same. That's part of Aaron Rodgers' issue.
Yeah.
Achilles.
Yeah, real talk.
All right. Well, I say it like this: in PPR leagues, he's a desperation flex. All right, but in standard formats, I think Jerome Ford might be droppable, bro.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Boss, is Ford's receiving role enough to keep him rostered in fantasy?
I just said the PPR leagues, yeah. In PPR, yeah. But I can't ride with him. I think there's a few other running backs.
So even during a bye week, you can't ride with this man? Even as a stash or a lockdown, in case Nick Chubb get hurt.
So how many running backs would you take over him that's on the waiver wire?
None. If he's on the waiver wire, I'm picking him. He got a good schedule coming up.
Okay. Well,
but he's just a stash. It's not I'm not saying start this guy. I'm saying you need him right now because the playoffs are coming.
And you feel the right.
I'm getting ready for the playoffs.
Yeah.
If you getting ready for the playoffs, check down. Everyone watching. Jerome Ford, he ain't the best, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying he's
good. He'll be a great option in PPR leagues.
That's what most fans
Yeah. Most
of it. I feel like because he get the split workload and he gets, he get a lot of goal line carries. I mean, not recently because they've been feeding Chubb a little. You wouldn't start him under any circumstances this week at all, right?
Hey, look, I started Justice Hill last week.
He's like, this is Jerome Ford is the Justice Hill of Cleveland. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
That's basically what he is.
And I believe that he's worth one game to get you some production just to, get you over this week. If next week coming up and you got Joe Mixon out, or whoever, you got Mark Andrews out, you got Derrick Henry out. I throw him in there.
So you feel like he's worth holding on to, until the playoffs come, so when the playoffs come?
I think any player that can give you a higher chance at winning from week to week, it's worth the start.
Okay, cool. All right, okay. Well, that's Jerome Ford. Let's
check the matchups.
Yeah,
check your opponent's matchups
Yeah, this is true. This is
This
true.
week, next week, the next week after that, see who's going on
This is
bye
true.
week. Yeah. See who's going on the bye week and all that good old stuff. You got to stay ahead of the game.
Yeah. So let's get on our plane and let's go on to New York and pick up my boy Darius Slayton because he on the corner of MetLife Stadium.
Big play
waiting
Slayton.
to get some plays thrown at him, bro. Darius Slayton, man. Let's be honest, bro. The New York Giants, their offense isn't the best, bro. It's not the best. I mean, but when we look at production, when we look at receptions, man, I feel like Darius Slayton is right there up there, man. 58 targets, 34 receptions, 477 yards, 14 yards per catch, bro.
88
And one touchdown. And that's sad that the one touchdown, but you got to think about his quarterback situation. You got to think about the fact that you have wide receivers that are hurt and that are playing hurt. DK Metcalf, Smith and the Jigba. You have you have Keon Coleman. You have Cedric Tillman. These players are hurt, right? And they play on teams that are also trash, right? Like, so if you need somebody to fill this desperation sleeper, put them in the bag, he might not possibly do anything type of deal.
They playing against the Saints next week.
Yeah, and I feel like Derek Carr is like on a backup quarterback level. But we're not even gonna get into that debate because I know you're a big Derek Carr fan.
Not at all, bruh. Not at all. I'm not into Derek Hughes.
You picked him up on your fantasy team, sir.
Yeah,
you faded him, sir.
Hey, man, you know, he's good for a week. Like a lot of players be good for a week, you know, use and lose. That's what I call it. Use and lose them. Sometimes you need them for this week to win this matchup only, and after that, you know.
So against New Orleans, bro, do you feel like Slayton has a great chance for a big play potential, bro? On some Marquise Van Scandeling type of situation. Do you feel like my man gonna be on that level?
Okay, so before I say anything, I say that the risk is real. But if you're in a deep league, a deep PPR league, then, you know, he's got some upside in favorable matchups. I put it like that. And any edge that you can get going into this fantasy playoff push, you know, will be very needed.
What's your predictions for this week coming up next week?
For
week 14, not 13.
For week 14?
Yeah, week 14.
You know, I think he'll pretty much have like the same production that he normally have across the board, but next week he's more likely to get a touchdown against the New Orleans Saints defense. And that's going to give him his points that you need to make it through the week.
So,
not his yardage, not his receptions. You know, it's going to be that one touchdown along with the 30, 40 yards that he gets.
So what about his projections, though? You think he'll get in that range or more above that line?
I think he'll get maybe 5 targets, give him 3 receptions. One of them will be in the goal, red zone. That's when he'll score a touchdown. Easy money.
Yeah. Slayton's lack of chemistry with the Giants, you know, rotating quarterbacks, you know, it makes him a risky start, I feel, you know, but while most teams also have the same situations that they're facing, you know what I mean? It may not be as heavy, you know what I mean? But these divisional games coming up, I feel it's almost on like a even slate with Cooper Rush and, you know.
Yeah, but, you know, looking at that game last night, was it an even slate?
I feel like it was. I feel like it was, bro. I just feel like one quarterback outdid the other, bro. Like I think Cooper Rush is a little bit. Well, no, he's way better than Drew Lock, bro.
Dallas defense won that game yesterday.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like it wasn't really. Dallas defense has been showing up for sure, you know,
especially last 2 weeks.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Look, put like this for Slayton, big play Slayton. Mm-hmm. His projection and everything we talked about is doable, but you got to understand these waiver wire pickups. It's high risk, but it's high reward if they capitalize on, you know.
These are players that you need, bro. Like, not that you want. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not a want situation. But while we're talking about Dallas, man, you know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and get on the plane and go to Dallas. You feel me? You know, Brandon Cooks, man. He's off the injured reserve. He got his first TD last night. You know what I'm saying? And I was happy for my guy.
And you know he got a pilot's license.
Who?
A pilot's license. He fly airplanes.
He just stays his ass on the ground, bro. You gotta stay on the ground, man. Like we need you out here, bro. Like we wouldn't have got that touchdown, sir.
He was flying, man. He flew up in there. That's what I'm talking about.
But so far, this is why you gotta understand that Brandon Cooks is a threat, bro. Like he's been hurt like majority of the season. You already heard the two people I said before this, right? But his stats right now: 54 targets, 36 receptions, 522 yards.
He missed
14.5 averaging, from receptions, yards averaging, and 4 touchdowns.
And he missed a few games.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? He missed a few games.
So this guy is a standout, and he is my waiver wire ad of the week. You know what I'm saying? Like he will be available week 14. Trust me. People did not believe in this guy. He's on the waiver wire. I guarantee you.
Go get him.
80% of the times you will see this guy, and you should definitely pick him up. You feel me? Brandon Cooks. And that's what we're going to end the show with, man. Go grab this guy. If you don't grab this guy, sorry about my voice, but if you don't grab this guy, you're going to regret it. Brandon Cooks, he's on the market, man, right now. People don't believe in him. People don't think he goes show up and show out, but he really is. You know what I mean? An honorable mention, I'm going to go ahead and add my boy. You know what I'm saying? I can't, you can't end this show. Shout out to Boss, too. Shout out to Boss, man. But Cavante Turpin, my boy. Cavante Turpin, my boy. Y'all need to go grab this man right now because he's heating up. This is a good year for this cat, right? And this is the thing I told y'all like when I first started this channel, right? The difference between not Dez Bryant, but CeeDee Lamb and Cavante Turpin is simple. One of them is filthy rich. The other one is hungry, greedy, starving, right? So when he get out there on that field, he plays with heart. He plays with production. He's going to give you some production, trust me, because this is his life. He sees it. He's grabbing the opportunity, and he's running with it, man. Cavante Turpin, man, you have to get him. Grab him. Grab him now. If you don't know his stats, hold on, man. Let me pull them up for you. Because I know people are stats. They all about stats, right? But check him out. He's on special teams. He already has a touchdown for 99 yards on special teams. Let's throw that in there. Targets, 32 targets, 22 receptions, 378 yards, 17.2 yards averaging after the catch, and 3 touchdowns. With a, mediocre 76.1 fantasy points going toward the end of the season. But when people look at stats that are in your fantasy group, they're going to be looking at this like this 76%. But really, if you watch the game, you can see he's emerging. He's going to climb to the top. You know what I mean? And one of the reasons why is because he can hit, man, on your parlay. He's one of those sleepers. He's one of those people that not a lot of people put money on or bet on. But as you can see, man, he's emerging. He's growing. He's becoming that man. And that's it for this week, man. Straight up, man. Those are the 5 waiver wire pickups this week on Check Down. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. Remember, subscribe, like, share, comment. Give me some feedback, baby. I appreciate all 6 of the viewers today, and I love you guys, man. Much love, man. I'm outie.